team has each other's back. They got my back. They got the coach's back. There's a lot of love on this team. I want to tell all the Clemson Nation, they better be there waiting on us because it's time to have some fun. We don't give a crap. It can't have enough snaps. They're like a city on the mountaintop and let their light shine. They don't quit. They say we can't do it. What they say now. And I couldn't think of a better place to end the street than Death Valley, South Carolina, baby.
Welcome back to Atlanta. Jen Brown will work the sidelines for us. She's down there right now with Dabo Sweeney. Jen.
Coach, at 8-0, it's your best start since 2000. How are you keeping your players focused?
Just one day at a time, one game at a time. You know, we keep them busy. It's a process each week that we go through to try to prepare them to play a game, and that's really all we're doing. Nothing any different than 4-0 or 5-0 or 6-0.
Big game tonight. What was your message to the team in the locker room?
Well, my message is just go be special. You know, play with a confidence, play with a swagger like you belong in the elite of college football. That's where Clemson belongs, and we got to play that way.
All right, thanks, Coach. Mike?
Jen, thank you very much. Clemson defers after winning the toss. They will kick to Georgia Tech. Paul Johnson's ball club will send Orwin Smith and Roddy Jones deep. They are the A-backs in this option offense. What a night for a homecoming in Atlanta. And the kick goes out of bounds. A mistake to start the game for Clemson on special teams. And Georgia Tech will get the start at its own 40.
Well, I think Tevin Washington, Mike, has been hot and cold, and of late you can see that it has not been the same start that he experienced in the first 5 games. And this football game tonight, going against this Clemson defense, they're going to have to get back to that 57% pass completion. They're going to have the explosive plays because Clemson is feeling like they're an exclusive team.
The big plays have dried up, and they have to reemerge tonight, or they're not going to be able to move the ball. Smith and Jones on the wing. Quarterback keeper Washington dives and is stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Well, our impact players tonight here, you know what, Mike, I think Orwin Smith, there are a number of rushers, but he has to get back close to the 12.3 average that he's been going with. And then on the outside, Stephen Hill. The last time we went into the game of theirs against NC State, he was hot. He's been cold lately. And then on defense, Brandon Thompson, that Clemson defensive line, they've got to push the line of scrimmage back to make the quarterback bow in the option game.
Washington looking to throw. Now he tries to take off. And that Clemson defense all over him. This was the concern for Paul Johnson. Do I try to throw the ball early and maybe get a big play? And if it doesn't work, I waste it down? That's what he was afraid of.
Well, you know what? There's a 6-man front up against here. And the offensive linemen for Georgia Tech are not built to go against Andre Branch and Brandon Thompson in a pass rushing game.
No, this is a cut blocking group of guys, and they've got to do that well. 2 plays, no yards for Georgia Tech. 3rd and 10. Sims is the back directly behind Washington. Straight back to throw against the 4-man rush. Pretty good protection. Now Washington takes off. Hiddesy's throwing, and it's incomplete, intended for Roddy Jones. So Georgia Tech tries to cross him up. They throw the ball 2 of the first 3 downs, and it's 3 and out.
I made the mention in our on-camera coming into this ball game, Georgia Tech and Paul Johnson wanted to limit Clemson from their traditional 16 to 18 possessions a game down to 10 because they want to keep it away from that high-powered offense. 3 and out's not going to get it done.
No. Sean Poole to kick to DeAndre Hopkins. Very dangerous guys on special teams, but they have had few opportunities because of kicks like that all year long. Either great kicks or very short kicks, or kicks that get a lot of roll. 43-yard punt, no return.
I think we ought to get the impact players out of the way before Clemson starts snapping it
hurriedly
in a hurry. I think Dwayne Allen, their tight end, 83 is outstanding. Might be the key to this deal. 5 touchdown receptions already. Samuel Watkins, Mr. Samuel Watkins on the outside. I can't wait to see him in person. And then on defense, Mr. Lewis Young. That corner was in our meetings yesterday, a very nice young man. They're going to try to redirect, jam, and hold up these wide receivers at the line of scrimmage tonight.
DJ Howard starts the game at running back in replace of the injured Andre Ellington. And Jeremiah Ataochu, who was their leading tackler before he got hurt, comes in to lead the Georgia Tech defense. This guy's a key. They've got to have him play well tonight.
Now, you know what? This defense is led by their coordinator, Al Groh. You and I have known Al Groh a long time. He has a lot of experience. He knows how to get his guys in place. Can they make the plays in space?
Taj Boyd, who replaced Kyle Parker, gives it off on the ground to DJ Howard, and Howard plunges ahead before Jason Peters takes him down.
Taj Boyd is getting a lot of Heisman recognition, and rightfully so. We'll show you throughout the course of the evening how his numbers compare to some of the other great quarterbacks in the game today and some from the past. He's been hot and explosive, getting in the hands of the playmakers. 24 touchdown passes, only 3 picks. He leads the ACC in passing yards. He's got a 3rd and 5 here. Georgia Tech comes with the blitz. Watkins on the screen. Blockers in front. Craig showed you at the beginning of the game he can get up to a speed of 22 miles an hour running with the ball. My first car in college didn't go 22 miles an hour. Yeah, I'm not sure mine does still. This guy is explosive. It can make you miss at the line of scrimmage, and a nice job of his teammates blocking, allowing that track speed to come into play.
First down at the 40. Watkins on the flanker reverse. Got him pretty well hemmed in. He lowers his shoulder, and he delivers the blow against Isaiah Johnson, the safety.
Al Groh has told his team, okay, fellas, Mr. Sammy Watkins is like a 200-meter champion out of Florida. That's thousands of people down there that he's outrun. We only have 100 to choose from. No one on this team can run with him, right? So take the right angles, intelligent angles, and get back when that ball is snapped.
When he's on the line of scrimmage as a receiver, they want to jam him. They don't want him getting that free release. Allen, the tight end, the guy who, if he comes out this year, is going to be the #1 tight end drafted in the NFL, according to most of the scouts. Jamia Thomas makes the tackle.
6'4", 255. He's what allows this offense to be powerful, not just a finesse passing football team.
Virginia Tech defensive coordinator Bud Foster labeled him the best player in the ACC. Where Sammy Watkins and Taj Boyd have also been labeled that. Here's the reverse, and it's Mike Bellamy, the youngster who can fly, coming out of the backfield. Got a good block from Philip Price, the left tackle.
Yeah, this is one of those nights where Georgia Tech is going to have to really fly to the original point of attack where the ball is headed. They can't afford to have the reverse of field because the foot speed's not there enough capable of catching these receivers and runners.
Boyd, blitz coming. They get there, but he gets away and throws, and threw it too hard through the hands of Bellamy. Didn't have much of a chance to catch that one. So Georgia Tech trying to make something happen, sending the extra man.
Chad Morris, offensive coordinator, came out of the high school ranks. He was from Tulsa last year, but really near and dear to these young players and understands how to communicate with them. We'll talk about him tonight, too. This was an outstanding hire by Dabo Swinney.
Not just any high school ranks, big-time Texas football, with which you are very familiar. Boyd throws on the slant. That one's complete down to the 25-24 yard line. And it was Jerron Brown, who's a very good third down guy, a possession receiver, and that one was good enough for a first down. Spotted at the Georgia Tech 24.
You know what impresses me so much about this Clemson offense is that Chad Morris has come in here and so quickly been able to get them to understand pace and tempo. It takes time for a team to be able to snap the ball as quickly as they do. Amazingly, they've done it.
They have really caught on to it, and Boyd's been the key. He did not have the job locked up coming out of spring practice, but worked very hard over the summer to get it. It's the tailback, DJ Howard, picks up a couple before he's pushed back. Cole Stout actually had a shot at the starting job until the summer when Boyd just exploded past everybody. Look at the number of plays. 14, 15, 16 plays better a game.
So that puts pressure on a defense physically and mentally. Most people talk about a defense getting tired, but you have to quickly adjust and line up right and think about your plays.
Already 10 plays on this drive. Boyd down the middle, tipped, and incomplete. Off the fingertips of Jerron Brown. Good job by Lewis Young, the corner. It turned out to be double coverage as he got to the end zone. Couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, just could not finish the play off. Normally a dependable receiver who makes those, especially on third down. Very, very good at that. Mr. Lou Young back there, backing up his confidence yesterday in the meeting.
Stuck his hands in there and kept it from being a touchdown. Now 3rd and long for Clemson. 4-man rush. Boyd with time, flushed out of the pocket, tripped, dives forward to the 16-yard line, maybe 2.5 yards shy of a first down.
Now here's a number that's big. Clemson's offense on 3rd and 5 or less, they convert 70% of the time. You've got to make sure they're 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, or you're in real trouble.
Yes, sir. Chandler Catanzaro will come on to try a 34-yard field goal. He is 13 out of 16 this year. Wind not a factor. And Catanzaro drills it right down the middle for his 14th field goal of the year. And Clemson gets 3 on its opening possession. Welcome back to ESPN on ABC Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. Clemson leading Georgia Tech 3-0 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships.
Kicking off for Clemson, number 39, Chandler Catanzaro.
Paul Johnson and Dabo Sweeney, 2 coaches who want this game desperately for different reasons. Georgia Tech to right the ship, Clemson to remain unbeaten. Smith and Jones deep to receive again. Orwin Smith, great speed. Cuts it to the outside, takes it up near the 30.
Number 17, Orwin Smith.
Well, historically, Georgia Tech has played well when they've not been doing well. Nobody expects them to come out and beat someone. And this series has been very close. Tech's won 4 of the last 5. 3 of those 4 by 5 points or less.
Well, they started the first series going 3 and out. You can't afford many 3 and outs against Clemson. You'll just be buried. Smith and Jones on the wings. In their top terminology, they are called the A-backs. Here comes the option with Washington. He'll try to keep. And Clemson's defense is saying, you're not going to run that stuff. Jonathan Willard, trailing the play, made the tackle that looked very slow, Craig. Very slow developing.
Yeah, it has been slow, and a lot of that is because of plays just like there where you have the chop blocks by the offensive line, and it makes it all of a sudden 1st and 20, and that just doesn't work in this offense.
Illegal chop block, number 77, offense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Now, Georgia Tech specializes in cut blocks, but a chop block is when one man is blocking high and another man comes in while he's still engaged and blocks low. And that is an illegal chop block.
And watch the timing of it. It's in the middle now of the screen of the offensive line. If there are 2 guys there, as you're mentioning, Mike, you cannot engage with them. And it happens so quickly. Uzi, he just was there with someone else, and it's a bang-bang block.
Boy, and defensive players just hate that. Fullback carried by Preston Lyons, only for a couple. Let's check into the studio with Robert Flores. Robert.
All right, Mike, Taco Bell studio update. Stanford trying to start 8-0 for the first time since 1951. They go 10 plays, 83 yards in their opening drive against SC. Andrew Luck to Tyler Gaffney, and it's 7-0 Cardinal over the Trojans.
Pretty good football team right there. Washington gives up the middle again to Lyons on the option. He only gets a couple. Craig, after that great start, Georgia Tech had teams started taking away the outside stuff and forced him to run up the middle, and it hasn't worked as well.
No, it hasn't. We'll try to show you tonight why it's not working. And a lot of that now is decision-making by Tevin Washington, the quarterback. He has to make the right decision at the line of scrimmage. Against Clemson, historically, this strong inside defensive line has pushed back and dominated the inside.
3rd and 18. Washington, he wants a screen as everybody's coming through, and he just throws it away. Brandon Thompson, number 98, led the charge. And this Clemson defensive line is indeed very stout. 2 of the top 3 tacklers on the entire team are defensive linemen. I don't know that we have ever seen that before.
I think the country looks at Clemson right now as being a football team really explosive on the offense, but nobody really knows for certain and can respect and appreciate how good they are defensively.
Poole to kick to Hopkins. They've given up a lot of points on occasion. Line drive kick, fair catch, signal for made at the 35. So Georgia Tech failing to move the ball on offense. Clemson's got it back when we return.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The 2012 Ford F-150 with available EcoBoost. Visit Ford.com/BigScore to learn more. And Happy Feet 2 from Warner Brothers Pictures. In theaters November 18th.
You just saw 3 of the best active in pro sports Georgia Tech products. Chris Bosh of the Heat, Detroit Lions star Calvin Johnson, Yankee slugger Mark Teixeira. Of course, our buddy Nomar Garcia-Parra, also a Georgia Tech alum, an All-American shortstop here before going on to Major League Baseball. Boyd flanker screen to Watkins, and this time they have the All-American candidate in the backfield. Great play by Jamia Thomas, who recognized the formation immediately.
Well, Algro has preached all week in practice to stop the vertical entry, get up on the line of scrimmage, collision, redirect, be aggressive at the point of attack. You can't allow these Clemson receivers time to make someone miss because they will be gone.
That's the kind of defensive play Georgia Tech is desperate for, especially since their offense hasn't moved the ball. Boyd in trouble, throws it away, and that didn't get back anywhere near the line of scrimmage. He got out of the pocket but threw it poorly. Being chased by big T.J. Barnes at 342. He's got some hustle.
Defenders lost him down. It's final foul.
I've got T.J. at 347. Whatever the number, he was moving. Yeah, it's just a nice job here of secondary coverage, not giving an option for Taj Boyd.
How'd you like to be a quarterback? You're being chased by a 342-pound guy, and he's gaining on you.
And great job jamming there again by Thomas. Secondary doing their job.
3rd and a mile. Boyd out in the flat. That's Howard out of the backfield, and Howard is flattened inside the 20. What a defensive stand for Georgia Tech. Let's see if that ball is incomplete or down. And they said he was down. Lewis Young came up from his corner spot to deliver a blow.
Well, he certainly is coming to the football. Nice job by Young. That ball is, I think that ball is out.
It is.
That ball there is certainly worth the review there, because that football, the play's dead. They blew it dead.
Rod Sweeting picked it up.
Ball's out.
That ball did come out. We will check the decision of the replay official when we come back to Atlanta.
After further review, the ruling is a fumble with an immediate recovery by Georgia Tech. The
Georgia Tech takes over. Tevin Washington on the keeper. Dives toward the 10. Now, here's the rule that let him have it. It was an obvious fumble as you looked at the replay. They cannot give him the touchdown because they ruled him down. But they can give him the recovery if it's recovered immediately, and it was.
Yeah, it was the right call, the right decision there. It's a great job by Georgia Tech's defense making a play, and the play was made because it was 3rd and long.
2nd and 2. Sims, the B-back, down near the 6. It'll be a 1st and goal.
Number 7, David Sims on the carry.
You just go back and you look and one more time. That ball is clearly out before the elbow and the body goes down. It was the right call, the right decision, which has pumped life into this Georgia Tech offense.
Now, if the referee sees that ball and thinks it might be a fumble, he's supposed to let play continue, which tells me he didn't see it. So that's why he ruled him down.
Well, if you're Georgia Tech right now, Paul Johnson has to be encouraged because his first 2 possessions had 6 yards. Now he's come out and he's found success on the inside.
1st and goal. Maybe 2 for Sims, who has carried the ball a lot more in the last 4 games than he did in the first 4 as they tried to shut down the outside run of Orlin Smith and Roddy Jones. So either he or Washington have been getting the bulk of the yards, although there haven't been that many yards in those last 2 ball games.
Now this is where at a point in the ball game where you have to maintain your discipline defensively. Your job, your key, your role. Don't try to peek and find somewhere else to go.
Quarterback keeper Washington to the goal line. And just short.
David Washington on the carry.
I've always said that when the quarterback pulls it from the fullback going up in the middle, this midline here they call it in the triple option, and he follows up in there, he couldn't get. Washington could not get to the outside, had to get up in the middle of the field. And in this ball game, as good as the defensive tackles and the defensive line is, especially on the inside with Moore and Thompson, Williams, Shatley, they're going to control the center and the guards of Georgia Tech.
Exactly.
I could see a lot more Tevin Washington following up after the fake.
They're really stacked in there now on 3rd and goal. Washington started left, goes back right, didn't have a chance. They just overpowered the Georgia Tech offensive line. What do you do here?
You got to find a way to get your interior guys to stop penetration and get it off of the tackle. You bring that A back. They're both wing backs on either side of the line of scrimmage. Bring them around.
4th and goal. No sign of a field goal unit. They need the length of a football. Touchdown, Orlin Smith. Roddy Jones threw him a block on the outside. That's the play they fell in love with the first 4 games of the year. Nobody could stop it. The toss to Orlin Smith. Well, you got to give them credit in their thought process. You weren't going to get anything up the middle, were you?
No, that was that A-back. That's that wing back. I said, bring him around. Get outside.
Moore for the point after.
And the kick is good.
Hello from Atlanta. 7-3 Georgia Tech over Clemson. It's homecoming for the Jackets. Georgia Tech, a team that has disappointed its followers and itself with 2 straight losses, leading undefeated Clemson 7-3 here in the first quarter.
Kicking off for Georgia Tech, number 86, Justin Moore. 8 for Clemson, number 2, Sammy.
More to kick to Sammy Watkins and Jerron Brown. Well, if I'm Georgia Tech, I'm thinking anybody but Watkins. He'll take it from the 11. And slam down at the 28-yard line. Jamia Thomas made the tackle. Here are the ones that are left standing. LSU, Alabama, Oklahoma State, Boise State, Clemson, and Stanford. Those are the top 6 teams in the country. Then you drop down to Houston. They're 8-0, but only ranked 17th this week.
This is that part that I was talking about. How does Clemson handle playing on prime time, under the spotlight, high elevation in the rankings, everyone talking national championship.
Boyd gives it off. Howard tries to turn the corner, driven out of bounds after a gain of 4 or 5. Rashard Reed, one of the safeties, knocked him out of bounds.
And I think the secondary at Georgia Tech, mechanically, technically, and with speed, has shown you that they have been well schooled, well prepared to play this game.
Gain of 5 yards.
2nd and 5 for the Tigers. Play action fake, blitz coming. Intercepted. Now they'll ask if that ball hit the ground. Quayshawn Neely got it off the shoe tops. Now the officials came in and said it hit the ground. Boy, was that close.
Now this is all a result of Al Groh dialing up. That ball hits the ground.
It does.
That ball hits the ground. But that is in the head of Clemson right now. Taj Boyd's thinking about that. So is his receiver, Dwayne Allen. This defense building on little, oh my goodness, close plays.
Al Groh is one of our favorite coaches. The knowledge he has and his ability to take that knowledge and explain to 18-year-old kids what he wants. Now they're going to look at this again.
Georgia Tech has called timeout to challenge the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. That play is under further review.
It has to be indisputable video evidence, and we've enlarged it here for you. I thought if this football, that hits the ground.
No, the tip of the ball could hit the ground if he had control, but it looked to us like it hit the ground and then was controlled.
Yes.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Incomplete pass. Georgia Tech
is charged with timeout. It is a 30-second timeout and may not challenge for the remainder of the game.
That was quick.
That's a nice job by Brad Allen and his crew. You see it? Let's go. Let's get the tempo going here. But that's how close this game is from having back-to-back turnovers by Georgia Tech. And keep in mind, Clemson is +9 in turnovers. They took the ball away 6 times against North Carolina.
From the 33.
3rd and 5 for Taj Boyd. Tech shows blitz and they come. Boyd underneath to Allen, as tight end, but Allen is wrapped up by Rashard Reed. Just got enough for a first down.
This is why Dabo Swinney, Chad Morris called Dwayne Allen perhaps the most important player on this group here. As a tight end, able to get in an inside receiver position so that he's got a clean release. And Boyd had confidence he'd be right where he was supposed to be.
Allen bothered by a turf toe all year. Not much he can do about it until he gets a chance to rest, which will be after this season. Jen Brown has more on the big tight end. Jen?
Well, guys, Allen did miss practice on Monday because of that turf toe you just mentioned, Mike. He's actually been wearing a walking boot to try to give it some extra protection. If you take a look at his shoe, if you guys can get an angle on it, he actually cut a hole to relieve the pressure. So definitely something that's been bothering him and something for us to keep an eye on.
And Jen, the problem for him, it gets worse as the game goes along. Bellamy, the speedster, out of Nocati, Florida. Sylvester made the tackle.
I used to think when guys would say they had turf toe, I'd go, man, come on, get tough, guys, just football. All of a sudden I got turf toe.
Then you had one?
I still feel it 100 years later.
It's like minor surgery. It's always minor if it's on somebody else.
Oh, my goodness. 3rd and 5 or less. This team is 70% on conversions.
3rd and 2. They have so many ways to get it. Now Allen directing traffic, and slow to get out there is DJ Howard. Boyd on the keeper. Nothing doing. Boy, Georgia Tech so well schooled in what Clemson likes to do. Those guys are in the positions they are because they have studied all week and watched tape.
The fact that this 3-man defensive line is able to get penetration and come across, led by Cross and these guys, that just shows you how fired up and jacked up they are about playing this game, knowing that they have a chance to do something special that no one thinks they have a chance of doing.
High snap. They got it down. And Georgia Tech gets a fair catch at the 25-yard line. Only a 29-yard kick by Zimmerman. Just 4 races left. Carl Edwards looks to overcome his Martinsville drought and maintain his points lead. The chase for the Sprint Cup continues at Martinsville. Our coverage begins on ESPN tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern. And there are the numbers. That's a 1 o'clock start tomorrow afternoon, and the racing is different on that short track. See if Georgia Tech can do something on offense.
Number 27,
as Preston Lyons gets the carry straight up the middle.
Well, this defense is going to have to win the game or win the quarter to allow their offense to get in it. It's been the offense so far this season that shines. Let's see what this defense can do.
That's going to be the final play of the first quarter here in Atlanta. 7-3 Tech.
It's electric in here, especially with the skyline that we're going to have, an 8 o'clock game, prime time, fans yelling. I mean, our fans don't like each other.
It'd go down as one of the great moments in this rivalry if we're able to knock them off and thwart the national championship hopes.
Sylvester and Jones, who were kind enough to talk to us for those sound bites regarding this game. Boy, they got to be jacked up right now. Their defense has played exceptionally well. After 1 quarter of play, they lead 7-3.
From the 29.
Washington, option right, keeps. 40, 50, 40. Inside the 30 to the 25. Jonathan Willard chased him down from behind. That is the longest run this year for Kevin Washington.
You've got to
46 yards.
Maintain your job. Do your job. The linebacker, 34, Quandon Christian. Did you see him jump out to the pitchback? He tried to take someone else's job. You've got the quarterback. You're in the alley. Make him pitch it or tackle him. That's the difficulty and the challenge of going against this offense.
There was already a defender out there to take the pitch man. He let the quarterback go, and it cost him. Fullback Preston Lyons up the middle.
Now, this has been an interesting season when you look at how Georgia Tech has rushed the ball. And they started out strong, went off the charts, green. And then the trend has not been what Paul Johnson is used to.
134 against Miami, and that will spell doom for an option offense. Clemson shows blitz. Jones in motion. He gets the toss. Great block on the outside. Jones cuts it back. What a block by Embry Peoples, number 24. He just cleaned house on the corner.
Clemson's going to have to move. They're going to have to change their looks in the secondary because Georgia Tech's now able to go and block and knock them down traditionally. The old arc block. We saw early in this game the defensive tackles were stopping Georgia Tech, so now Paul Allen's attacking in the outside.
Peebles with a great block. It's 1st and goal, the nose of the ball just across the 10. Washington, quarterback keeper, thought he saw something, picks up a couple.
Kevin Washington on the carry.
And Mike, the reason I say you've got to change your looks, Paul Johnson loves a defense that says we're going to be basic. We're not going to make mistakes. We don't ever play against the triple option. If you just line up out there all the time, routinely, these backs and receivers will cut your legs underneath you.
Very effective blocking scheme for this ball club, especially for this offense. Jones on the toss, or Smith rather. He's down to the 6. Quandon Christian out of Lakeview, South Carolina, number 34, made a tackle.
In our conversations with Paul Johnson, the way he's thinking right now, he knows he's only going to get the ball so many times. He's not thinking 3. Paul Johnson's thinking 6, so he's going to call accordingly.
From the 6.
There is a point where he's got to think 3, but this isn't it. Washington back to throw under pressure, throws for the end zone too high, intended for Stephen Hill, but the pressure was coming from number 94, Rennie Moore, and on 4th and goal from the 6, they'll have to send on the field goal team.
Yeah, I was thinking more on the ground, gaining 2-3 yards to set up a good 4th down opportunity to run it, but
Number 86, Justin Moore.
Washington has now missed all 3 of his passes. Moore comes on for a field goal try. He has struggled this year. Only 4 out of 8. And consulted with a great NFL kicker, Morton Anderson, who runs a kicking camp.
And the kick is good. And your score, Georgia Tech.
He knocks this one through from 23 yards, and Georgia Tech extends its lead to 10-3 over undefeated Clemson. Georgia Tech leading Clemson 10-3, even though they are behind here in the second quarter. This Clemson offense is spectacular. They've scored 115 points in the last 2 games. They've averaged 483 yards a game for the season. Sammy Watkins averaging 174 all-purpose a game, and Taj Boyd had 24 touchdown passes as opposed to only 3 interceptions. So they can change the course of a game in a heartbeat. But right now, the Georgia Tech defense is outplaying them.
Nothing trick-or-treat or Halloween-ish about this offense. They're going to get you, and they will score. They'll get it going before this game's over.
Watkins back to the 26-27 yard line.
Sammy Watkins on the return. Tackle made by number 14.
This is the challenge of playing in one of the 6 major conferences. That week in and week out, you're going to be tested. Here's a Georgia Tech football team that has a couple of losses. They've not been playing well, playing against a red-hot Clemson football team. You know, Clemson on the road. This is why you reward those teams who have to play week in and week out.
Boyd in the shotgun. He's got DJ Howard with him. It's one of the youngest teams in the country. Howard, another freshman. The pass underneath to Watkins, and he slipped. That's a break for Georgia Tech because he got away from Isaiah Johnson, the safety, and slipped as he tried to go inside.
Now they changed the look up this time. Georgia Tech a little soft on the outside. They're not up there challenging.
6 yards.
And this is pitch and catch between Boyd and Watkins.
He's out of Fort Myers, Florida. Well, Georgia Tech's done a good job against the ground game as Howard was just swallowed up. Rashad Reed, the safety, came firing up to lead the charge.
The senior Reed and his secondary teammates are the difference to this point in the ballgame. Their run support from back deep, coming up, filling the hole, putting that 8th body in the box against the run has been special so far.
But that means you can be vulnerable downfield, doesn't it?
Amen, partner.
From the 32.
Boyd screen, and Allen is tripped up as soon as he got the ball, and Rod Sweeting makes the tackle. He and Young have been terrific on the corner. I mean, this is not easy. You're talking about an NFL caliber tight end who's 255 pounds.
This is Al Groh. This is coaching Monday through Friday. This is recognition of plays, coming off from your corner spot over there, knowing exactly what Clemson's about to throw.
Zimmerman in the punt.
Jamia Thomas.
Zimmerman to kick. Jamia Thomas is deep, waiting at the 25.
Nice.
Booming punt drives him back to the 12. And tripped up shy of the 20-yard line. Nice tackle by Adam Humphries, a backup wide receiver playing on special teams. An 8-yard return after a 54-yard kick.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online, only at southwest.com. Buick, see real stories of human achievement on the Buick Human Highlight Reel at ncaa.com/Buick. And DirecTV, switch now and get a whole home DVR upgrade for free.
But I think Georgia Tech is one of the best schools in the nation. You know, it's one of the biggest reasons why I came, because I knew that they take their school here very seriously, and it's one of the highest priorities here.
That's Jason Peters, who already has a degree from Georgia Tech in business management. Now he's taking graduate courses. We caught up with him in his literature, culture, and communications class yesterday. Can Tech run off one of those long, sustained drives? And this is Sims, the B-back, straight up the middle.
Yeah, that B-back is the guy that's right behind the quarterback. Traditionally in the triple option offense is the one who has a lot of yards. What we're seeing right now are the center and the two guards, the offensive line, getting to the legs of Clemson's defensive line. They've got to use their hands. They've got to keep them off. They've got to move and be able to beat the one-on-one block.
Washington wants to throw. Hill dropped it. Holy cow. Hill has virtually disappeared from this offense because of plays like that. Would have been a 51-yard gain where he had it and dropped it. He is extremely talented.
Oh, my goodness. This is one of those right here when you get a chance to hit the home run and to get Stephen Hill in the game, a very talented human being who early in the season was averaging 33 yards per reception. He was the talk of the country.
And what a throw by Tevin Washington, a young man who has been roundly criticized for missing wide open guys. That pass was 50 yards in the air on the money.
You can make that call and that throw on 2nd and 1 because you can come back and get it on 3rd down.
Brandon Thompson appeared to jump. Morgay
Offside. Defense number 98 enters the neutral zone and calls the offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty. Results in the first down.
Uzi, number 77, was the tackle that moved, but he was induced to do so by Brandon Thompson, according to the official.
You don't mess with Uzi and these offensive linemen. They're smart. You get over in that zone, that neutral zone, and they're going to come with it. They're going to get you. They're going to say, hey, you forced me to move.
And they did it again.
Now, I'll tell you what's happening.
And this time it was Jackson who was induced by Rennie Moore. Now, the only way as an offensive lineman can get away with that is if the play's in front of him. If it's off to the side against somebody else, you can't jump out there and touch him. They're not going to buy that.
Offside. Defense number 94 came into the neutral zone and caused the opponent to react. 5-yard penalty.
Something's happening with that cadence. Tevin Washington's working it right now, and Clemson's defensive line is listening to Tevin Washington.
But remember, cadence isn't supposed to matter. You're supposed to look at the ball.
We know that. They know that. Motion starts coming, bodies moving in the backfield, and all of a sudden you stop thinking.
Washington gives it up the middle and barely got the handoff to Sims. Now for tonight's Aflac trivia question. Clemson 8-0 this season. Since 2000, only one ACC team has been 9-0. Who was that? Clemson trying to become the second. Right now they're down by a touchdown at Georgia Tech.
And Clemson has picked the mantle up. Florida State was supposed to be their bell cow this year that was going to run through the country. That didn't happen. Clemson stepped up, came off out of nowhere, and they have now gained the prestigious spot for the ACC.
First down, Georgia Tech. They are in the middle of one of these clock-eating drives. The toss to Jones. And this is what makes them so tough to play against. They keep the ball. They grind it out. And as long as they have it, that brilliant Clemson offense can't get it.
There's no one in the alley. And the alley against the triple option is so important. That means coming up from the secondary. Quarterback's taken away. There's the block on the outside. No one's there. It's good blocking. The receivers and the A-backs, the motion backs, are doing a good job of getting downfield, identifying the right person to block.
Talk about a good defensive coordinator. That was Kevin Steele. Working with a lot of young guys. And this is not, if you got a lot of young guys, this is not an easy offense to play against.
And the more success Georgia Tech has, the more thinking that Clemson starts doing. And you can't think. You know, every time that we watch Paul Johnson's offense go against a defense, when he gets them to watch and observe, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Flat-footed.
They work on this all year. I mean, they know they're going to play Georgia Tech. So part of this practice and that practice and spring camp, summer camp. Here's the toss to Smith. That was very close to being a face mask as Smith is taken out of bounds. Looked like Rashard Hall got a hand up on the helmet.
If your responsibility is the pitch back, you better get out there immediately. And right now, there's just no one who is taking and able to get there. The blocks are happening before the defenders, whether it's a linebacker or a safety, can get over.
Right now, Georgia Tech has found its rhythm on offense. Maybe 2 for Sims.
Let me explain what you mean by rhythm. If you're watching a passing offense and a quarterback gets in rhythm throwing the football down the field, it's the same thing in the triple option offense when Tevin Washington, the quarterback, gets the rhythm of feeling the right reads, giving it, pulling it, pitching it. So you have to disrupt. Just like a passing quarterback, you've got to disrupt the quarterback's rhythm in the run triple option. Linebackers have to get in his grill.
Smith in motion, gets the toss. He's got great speed inside the 10. Another 1st and goal for Georgia Tech. That's the same play they burned him with earlier. He's got such great speed. You take away the fullback, you got to give something else up.
Okay, I want to show you here the number of linemen and black backs putting down the defense. You see bodies being cut. Defenders don't like to have bodies coming at their knees. And so they're right now thinking about guarding thighs as opposed to their responsibility.
1st and goal. Washington, quarterback keeper to the 3. Grinding it out, and then occasionally popping one for 15 yards.
Tackled by number 12.
We've already taken 4 minutes off the clock on this drive and gone 77 yards. This is what Georgia Tech wanted. This is what Clemson was afraid of.
Yeah, and now this is where, in order to have a great season and to have a chance for the national championship, when your back's against the wall defensively, this is when you have to stand up.
Time to suck it up here,
championship.
Another toss. Smith! Touchdown! He's run for 2 touchdowns tonight, his 9th and 10th on the ground this year. Clearly inside the pylon, and a Georgia Tech player is injured.
Boy, this is a fantastic job of the A-back on the wing, getting his block. Phil Smith, the right tackle, getting outside with the block. Identifying who you're supposed to block and getting a little piece of them.
They will run that toss play, that jet sweep, until you stop it.
Remember how this game started, though? They were inside and stopped. 2 possessions, 6 yards.
Didn't go anywhere.
Paul Johnson made the adjustment. Well, that's a lot of confidence now that this Georgia Tech football team has. And as you pointed out, Mike, coming into this game, Paul Johnson wanted to limit Clemson's offensive possessions to 10 total in the game. They've been getting 16 to 18 per game. That drive right there is the way that you're able to do that. They've had 4 possessions to this point in the game.
That's Stephen Hill, the multi-talented wide receiver, still down after that touchdown run.
You know what? Wasn't this the drive that Stephen Hill had the ball deep that he dropped?
51-yarder at least.
And his teammates picked him up?
Yeah. He is walking gingerly toward the Yellow Jackets sideline. Hopefully we'll see him back in the ballgame. He's just shaking. That was an 80-yard drive. In 4 minutes and 19 seconds went 10 plays. So far for the Yellow Jackets, this is a pretty good homecoming. Paul Johnson said, hey, who invited Clemson to homecoming? Please. Justin Moore, the point after.
And the kick is good.
Sometimes the things you don't get work out better than the ones you do. He wanted a timeout.
I'm just kidding. No,
he didn't get it, but he did get a touchdown. That's not a bad trade.
Boy, Dabo's got his work cut out for him tonight. He's got to do some coaching over there now.
Georgia Tech.
Welcome back to ESPN and ABC's Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. Georgia Tech trying to spring the upset on undefeated Clemson, up 17-3 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships. Clemson must feel stunned right now. Paul Johnson is not. He's getting exactly what he wants out of this offense, and maybe more importantly, exactly what he wants out of his defense. They have played lights out so far. The electric Sammy Watkins. Midfield. Good grief, can this kid fly? The kicker, Justin Moore, had to knock him out of bounds.
He was forced out of bounds by number 86.
Sammy Watkins had 345 all-purpose yards earlier this season against Maryland. Look at the speed. This isn't just a track guy. This is a football player. I said coming into this game that of all the years I've covered college football, Sammy Watkins has grabbed my attention, like the guys in the early 90s, Marshall Faulk. Only a few as freshmen have ever really caught my attention. He's special.
People that play against him when the game's over say, he might be the best player in the country. And he just might be. He's in motion. We want to get him the ball on a toss. Will he throw? Watkins pulls up, throws a pass, complete for 10 yards. Well, we didn't know he can do that. Now if he punts and place kicks, he's perfect.
Well, you know what?
Watkins pass complete.
When you're a receiver or a running back on a pass, many times if it's not there, you tuck it and you run. Instead, Watkins throws a bullet.
Second and short. And they'll get the first down to the 28-yard line from Mike Bellamy. Now the answer to our Aflac trivia question, which was Clemson 8-0 since 2000. Only one ACC team has been 9-0. Who were they? It was North Carolina State in 2002. They finished 11-3 that season. Boyd with time, batted down at the line of scrimmage and almost intercepted. Ijan Cross, number 94, blocked it and had it for a split second.
Now, this is a nice job of Georgia Tech's defensive line of just holding their lanes and their spots and then jumping when the ball is released from the quarterback. I like that kind of strategy because if you rush hard, Taj Boyd has the ability to run right past you.
Boyd with Howard with him in the backfield. Boyd with time to Watkins. He goes down immediately at the 22. That's going to leave him about 5 yards shy of a first down. Boy, Boyd's been impressive, too. His throws are right on the money, and they've got something on them.
Yeah, this is it. Now, here's what you have to worry about. Now, Clemson's got to make sure, coming out of this huddle, to identify your blitz responsibilities. Al Grove's been bringing someone from a different spot each time on third down.
Boyd with time out in the flat and threw it too high. Had Howard coming out of the backfield open in the flat, and Georgia Tech that time did what they said they would not do. They let Sammy Watkins have a free release from the line of scrimmage.
And they did not blitz, so that Al Grove gave a different look. He dropped 7 into coverage, had more bodies back there, and then poor body mechanics, footwork, poor foot mechanics work by Taj Boyd.
For Al Grove, this is not his first barbecue. A 40-yard field goal try from Catanzaro. He's already hit from 34. And he missed it. Holy cow. Catanzaro had made 14 out of 17, including the 34-yarder earlier. Just what this crowd needed. Something else to get fired up about.
Ramblin' Wreck is feeling it. Clemson just has to hang in there. This is a critical series for Clemson's defense. They've got to come out and lift this football team and keep Georgia Tech out of the end zone.
This week is Dan Preston's and associate professor.
The disappointment on the face of Chandler Catanzaro after snap hooking a field goal attempt. And now Georgia Tech will try to burn up the last 4:22 of the first half. And they come out throwing. Tyler Melton with his 8th pass catch of the year.
Complete to number 84.
You know, Paul Johnson, this isn't his first barbecue either. And they know that they come out, and Clemson's expecting run on first down, a high percentage throw that Tevin Washington has to complete. His last 2 balls he's thrown have been on the money. One was dropped by Stephen Hill, but the other was completed.
Fullback for a couple. That's Preston Lyons.
Lyons on the carry.
Of course, for Paul Johnson, every pass play is a risk with this offense. It really hurts you. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. It hurts you, of course, if you don't complete it.
This game here started off, and Clemson had a little bit of fire in them, but Georgia Tech quickly gained the control of this football game. And when you look at the numbers in the first quarter, Clemson had 69 yards, only 35 in the second quarter, and a complete reversal for Georgia Tech. They've got 141 yards in the second quarter.
And this one is just short. Paul Johnson said his goal would be limit Clemson to 5 possessions maybe each half. That's what he's done in this half.
Third down and short.
And you can understand why he's afraid of that Clemson offense. In the last 4 drives, the Tigers have gained only 37 yards against that Tech defense. Clock running under 3:45. 3rd and an inch. Quarterback keeper following his B-back.
Tevin Washington on the carry.
That's that midline there that is so effective. Just for 1 or 2 or 3 yards, it's like giving the ball to the tailback with a fullback leading up in there for you.
To me, that's such a tough play for the fullback because he doesn't know if he's going to get the ball or if he's immediately turned into a blocker.
These linebackers and the safeties at Clemson have got to get active. They've got to become more decisive.
Washington on the keeper again.
Number 13, Tevin Washington.
Near the 40, Malachi Goodman, a very disciplined, focused defensive end. So the kind of guy you need against this offense made that stop.
Yeah, and you know what? Focus is a good word to use right now because Paul Johnson will lull you to sleep. He goes inside, 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 and then all of a sudden he'll either throw the ball deep or he'll do something where that A-back comes around with a jet sweep and he gets outside.
Stephen Hill back in the ball game for Georgia Tech, the speedy wide receiver. Instead, they throw the other side again to Tyler Melton. Melton very close to the sticks. Turned back by Bashaud Breeland.
You know what that does for the offense and especially the receivers here at Georgia Tech who are asked to block 95% of the time? it gives just a little bit of pause in that corner's mind. That split little second there, wonder if it's going to be a run or a pass.
Clemson playing its corners well off those guys, so that's almost a gimme right now.
What do you think about that midline again?
I like it. Instead, just a straight keep, and he's got the first down. Well, Georgia Tech can frustrate you as a defense. They just chip away and chip away and chip away. Doesn't seem like they're doing a whole lot, but they've got another first down and 4 more downs to burn the clock.
I've been mentioning the linebackers in the secondary. These folks right here, they've got to get in the alley. They got to come up the linebacker level on the outside. You've got to make sure you get up the field. Go to your assignment.
Need about another 25 yards to have a legitimate field goal try. Hill on the post. This one he caught. What a throw, what a catch. 44 yards. And Tevin Washington, for all the legitimate criticism he's taken the last 2 or 3 games, has put it on the money tonight.
Former Georgia Tech receiver Calvin Johnson makes those kind of catches, right?
Exactly.
Same kind of body size and makeup. This is all about Stephen Hill deciding he wants to be great. He's got everything except for the consistency going.
And if you play wide receiver here, that's the guy you're always going to be compared to. Washington inside the 5 to about the 3. Clock continues to run. 1:05 left in the half. And Georgia Tech just shellacking undefeated Clemson right now.
You look at the Clemson defense, hands on their hips. There's fatigue that's crept into this Clemson defense. They've got to suck it up, especially on the outside. Down here, the A-backs coming around for the pitch has really hurt them.
Washington, touchdown! I don't know if anybody saw this coming. Certainly not outside of the Georgia Tech locker room. More for the point after. to 3 with 37 seconds to go in the half. Are you kidding me?
It's like a schnauzer chasing a pit bull right now. This offensive line, the way they're blocking and going at the legs. Clemson's defense is receiving blocks. They're not on the other side. And then when they decide to get aggressive, they're going to the wrong assignment.
Boy, and Paul Johnson telling his quarterback how much he appreciates that drive. Great throw, great catch. Spectacular.
You know what? And how about the confidence and the wisdom of Paul Johnson to go back to it? Because remember in our meeting yesterday, Paul said, you know what, I only have so many possessions.
That's right.
And I don't, you know, if he's not going to give it to me and make the catch, I can't afford to waste a play on him. I mean, and so Paul's a very smart guy and understands he only has so many possessions to go, and he doesn't want to waste it on someone that's not going to make the play.
In this offense, every incomplete pass is almost a disaster.
Number 18, Gerard Brown.
And you really got to have some faith in your kids to call them.
Well, I tell you what, number 2 could take it to the house in a heartbeat.
Watkins from the 16. He can make a cut at full speed, but he can't outrun his own guys. Got flattened by Mansa Joseph.
Is that not symbolic of the first half?
It's perfect. You're absolutely right.
Well, the drives that we've seen from Clemson, the missed field goal really did hurt them. And 3 plays, 6 plays, 3 plays, that's just not enough. You got to have enough snaps to get it to your playmakers.
The largest deficit that Clemson has faced all year. They're down by 21. Boyd, draw play. It's one of those calls, if you break it for 30 or 40, it's a great play, then you can try to do something with the remaining time. Coming up, the Capital One halftime report. Robert Flores and Jesse Palmer will give you all the scores and highlights on a very busy day in college football. 25 seconds left. Boy, Kansas State got whacked today, didn't they?
Well, it's that time of the year where people remember what you do in November, but you got to be good in October to get to November. Key plays in this football game early on. Georgia Tech's defense won the battle by coming out. The turnover, 4th down, the touchdown by the big O, Orwin Smith, getting to the outside again. The blocking of Georgia Tech, the receiving. Now this passing game, the 3 receptions, the passes completed on that previous drive, holding up that Clemson defense just enough to allow the running game to prosper.
Clemson still has 2 timeouts. Boyd throws underneath, almost intercepted the linebacker, Quayshawn Neely. A redshirt, 220-pound freshman had a shot at a pick.
It's 3rd down.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous throw here. I know Dabo Swinney would like to get something going, but you don't want to have it going the other way on you either.
Pretty good closing speed for a linebacker. Boyd again throws, and that one ripped out of the air by Bellamy.
Pass is complete.
Or check it, DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins, man. The receiving core here. This is a very talented football team. Very capable of coming back and getting in this football game.
And young. Hopkins is a sophomore. Watkins is a freshman. As a matter of fact, 42 of the players on this roster, half of the roster, freshman and redshirt freshmen.
Throw it to the middle of the field, stop the change, clock it, and then you got an easy throw to the end zone.
4-man rush, Boyd to the outside. Allen steps out of bounds at the 42. But now there's only 7 seconds left. So maybe you've got one more shot at getting some additional yardage and then give Catanzaro, who has a very strong leg, a shot at another field goal.
Yeah, or you just decide that you've got some really talented receivers on the outside, put it up and see if they can make a play in the end zone.
See if Sammy Watkins can do something for you. Boyd flushed. Clock's going to run out on him, and Taj Boyd out of bounds to the 44.
And that's the end of the first half with your score.
So Clemson's final opportunity goes amiss on what has been a brilliant first half by Georgia Tech. Here's Jen Brown with Dabo.
Coach, this is the largest deficit your team's faced all season. What do you say to your team right now in the locker room?
They're outplaying us in every area. They're out executing us. Right now, they want it more. So we got to decide what we want to do in the second half.
What adjustments would you like your team to make then?
Well, we got to line up and play. We turn the ball over, miss a kick. We're giving up outside plays on defense. We got a guy covered. We give up a big play. We just got to settle down and play. It don't matter what the score is. We got to play.
Thanks, Coach. Mike?
I love his honesty, Jen. At the half, our score, Georgia Tech 24, unbeaten Clemson 3. Now we send you to Robert Flores and Jesse Palmer for the Capital One halftime report.
Welcome back to Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines.
Welcome back to the ACC on ESPN. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, where Georgia Tech is leading 5th ranked and undefeated Clemson 24-3 at the half. Welcome back to homecoming at Georgia Tech, everybody. All you can say is, wow, what a performance.
Before Clemson can get back in this game, they have to match the physical nature of Georgia Tech. First and foremost, Georgia Tech is taking it to Clemson. Number 2, You have to develop an it's us against them mentality. This is a team that has to fight their way back and find the heart and soul of their football team. They've got the talent and capable of coming back, but they've got to suck it up and get after it.
They came back from 18 down at Maryland in the third quarter. 18 points. But this is an even bigger test.
Sammy Watkins, number 18, Juwan Brown.
They could use a big return out of Sammy Watkins. He takes it at the 9. Sprints up the middle, drags a tackler with him to the 30. Let's take a look at tonight's Southwest Airlines playbook, Craig.
Now, this has been a game that Clemson did not expect to have brought to them. This is going to give you an example of the physical nature I'm talking about. Downfield, Stephen Hill blocking there. On the outside, watch the number of orange bodies being cut and taken to the ground. You can't practice against cut blocks because you get hurt. So you get in the game and all of a sudden it's fast. They're on your thighs and you're going to the ground. This secondary at Clemson defensively has got to come up with their linebackers to stop this.
Clemson trying to get something going with Mike Bellamy, the freshman tailback. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
Yeah,
stunning turn of events here, Craig.
And that 244 yards, the time of possession, Paul Johnson's team listened. They were calm and collected yesterday in our meetings. There was an air of confidence about them. I think they knew they had a chance and felt good about their opportunity.
Boyd throws and complete to Hopkins. Remember, Clemson came in here 12th in the country in scoring, 15th in total offense, 15th in passing offense, and Georgia Tech's defense has simply shut them down for a half.
It's one play at a time. Clemson, one play at a time. Run, pass, balance, and that's how you get Georgia Tech's defense on their heels.
Couple of yards there for Mike Bellamy. Let us tell you again, Andre Ellington with an ankle injury, unable to play so far tonight. There are the numbers on Sammy Watkins, the sensational freshman. Averages 102.4 yards a game, only has 29 so far. Got to be holding your breath if you're trying to defend him, though.
Yeah, remember, Georgia Tech wants to redirect at the line of scrimmage and not let them get vertical.
Blitz coming, they don't get there, and toss Boyd to Watkins. Hold your breath no more.
Touchdown pass complete to number 2, Sammy Watkins.
Al Groh says he doesn't catch the ball, he doesn't snatch it, he just takes it.
He just took this one out of the air. Al Groh decides to blitz, and they're picking him up. And remember what I just mentioned to you? Not allow the easy release that they wanted to redirect and not let them get vertical. They gave him a clean release, and the result is 6.
How easy did he make that catch look? He catches the ball at full speed. He makes his break on his routes at full speed. Well, he is the real deal.
He's the real deal. And now that old Mo has gone over to Clemson's bench. Georgia Tech's offense, can they keep up the pace? We're about to find out.
Welcome back to ESPN on ABC's Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. Georgia Tech 24, Clemson 10 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships.
Now you see why Paul Johnson wanted to limit the number of possessions by Clemson.
We mentioned Ellington unable to play tonight. He is not even in uniform. He's in civvies on the sideline. Roddy Thomas out to the Roddy Jones out to the 24-yard line. Halloween night, first place in the AFC West on the line. Phillip Rivers leads the Chargers into Kansas City to face the rival Chiefs, looking for their 4th straight. The Chargers and Chiefs on ESPN Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern. Also available on Watch ESPN. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's.
Georgia Tech in the first half had the run balance of the inside and the outside game. It's up to Clemson's defense to stay in their lane, do their job inside and outside.
What kind of adjustment? The quick out to Hill. Got a couple before he's driven out of bounds.
Pass complete. The number 5, Stephen Hill.
That's okay.
Breland took him down.
I like that. And we've seen 3 different first down throws, all completed tonight in this ball game. And that, again, gives that defense just a little pause on the outside.
You know, in some offenses, it's an automatic, as you know. You come to the line, you see the corner playing 7 yards off, you're going to throw it all night. How does Georgia Tech's offense respond after that quick strike? Washington with the keeper, maybe a yard, that's all. Andre Branch, we have called his name so few times tonight, was in there along with Jonathan Willard.
Here's how you stop it. This is an answer right here. You see the linebacker coming hard to the inside. That's how you get in there. Willard being aggressive. You can't sit back. Clemson's defense was on their heels the first half, and they were getting blocked. Get on your toes and come downhill.
After the first 2 possessions, Georgia Tech offense has been as advertised. They've moved it every time. Draw play, Washington got a great block, 40. Midfield, another great block by Hill. If you want to run the option, guys have to block for you. The other backs and the wide receivers, and boy, do they block.
Watch the angle and the quarterback draw of the guards, how they block out. Watch the 2 guards on either side of the center. Watch how they do this. And they turn their fanny to the hole. And they give and allow it to happen. The block by David Sims clears the linebacker safety level. And then Tevin Washington, an outstanding play call by Paul Johnson.
55 yards for Washington. Sims pushing the pile toward the 10.
Number 7, David Sims on the carry.
Tevin Washington had some confidence issues going over the last couple of weeks. He's been hammered in the press, and the fans wondering this and that. Tonight has showed up with confidence. You get confidence by making plays.
He had been making terrible throws. I mean, not just incompletions, but terrible throws, way off the mark. Tonight, he has been spectacularly on target. Sims again. Huge hole, dives. No signal yet. The officials just looking at each other now. Touchdown.
Number 7,
I think the officials are waiting to see if maybe the other guy thought the knees were down before the ball went across. There's the stretch, and it's a touchdown.
Yes, it
is.
is.
That a great effort. Great play calling by Paul Johnson.
Absolutely. Tremendous effort by this Georgia Tech ball club. Well, we asked how would they respond to that quick strike. They went 77 yards in just 5 plays. How about that?
How about Halloween weekend, little shootout in Atlanta. Triple option. Tevin Washington going against Mr. Sammy Watkins. Can Watkins come back and give him one more?
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
Yesterday, it was the Mini 500 got rolling at Georgia Tech. It evolved from a fraternity prank where pledges had to ride tricycles around campus to something better, a funny homecoming tradition since 1969. It's quite a challenge. I got a better tricycle than you do.
Well, we had a blowout on our ride to the game tonight. We came in on 3 wheels,
too. 3 wheels, yeah. Ours is a little noisier than that. Watkins. Oh, he's just lightning up to the 32. There is a flag down. Back at the 26-yard line. Very few flags tonight on the whole.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 10 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, take a look at this score, and that's why we want to show you the BCS standings, brought to you by Tostitos. For this and another reason, Clemson undefeated, down 31-10. Stanford undefeated, down 13-10 at USC. Kansas State suffered its first loss. Whole lot of changes, Mr. James.
And Arkansas had to come back to win their game against Vanderbilt.
How about that? I can already see the conversation. Does the loser of Alabama-LSU get into the national championship game if Oklahoma State and Boise State run the table?
You know my thought on that. The way I'm going to vote on that, the loser of the LSU-Alabama game, if it's a well-played football game, I'm going to remove their affiliation from their conference. I'm just going to look at them and say, okay, who is the second best team in the country? Whether that's a once-beaten team or an undefeated team.
Boyd, a lot of time, throws deep. The receiver and the defender go down. That was Allen. Are they going to say it was just incidental contact? They get tied up with their feet? That's what they're going to say. Michael Peterson, number 35, had the coverage. And if two guys get tied up and it's not intentional, it's a wash.
Yeah, and that's a wheel route by your tight end, Allen.
Good call.
That's a good call. It's good coverage. It's just a well-coached defense by Al Grove tonight. This defense has not been fooled.
Boyd again throws to Watkins, ducks, gets a couple of extra yards. Rod Sweeting tried to dehorn him and missed him.
Remember, Georgia Tech's coaches told their players, redirect, bump, and stay with these wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. And you're seeing the ability, the escapability of Sammy Watkins at the line of scrimmage.
He has 7 catches for 86 yards. Couple on the ground, that's it. But it's good enough for a first down as Mike Bellamy gets the first down. Andre Ellington again unable to play. He came in with 745 yards rushing, but hurt his ankle. Last year, of course, he got hurt late in the season. Had to have off-season surgery. It's very disappointing for this young man not to be able to play tonight. Boyd sets and fires, intended for Watkins. Beautifully defended. Thomas was right there. Jamia Thomas. If the ball's thrown deeper, maybe Watkins can use some of that athletic ability, but where it was thrown, Thomas was in perfect position.
Watch Jamia Thomas, how he turns immediately and sprints. Go. This is a 200-meter champion out of Florida. You can't run with him, but he did because he turned immediately and got deep. Well, that's an excellent athletic play there by Thomas.
Allen, the big tight end, in motion. Boyd drilled as he throws. I mean, he got clobbered by Sweeting. And there is a flag down at the spot where Sweeting nearly annihilated him. But the call is a hold. When Sweeting immediately got up and was pleading his case, like, what?
Holding. Offense, score 72. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
This is timing the blitz off the corner. Watch how at the snap of the ball, Sweeting comes. No one sees him coming from the outside. Most importantly, the quarterback.
Second down.
That's just well coached, timing your blitz.
They did a great job of making sure the tackle Landon Walker went outside to take the defensive end to leave that lane open for the blitzer. That was beautifully executed. Boyd trying to get some room outside, throws, and Sammy Watkins makes the catch. Where did he go out of bounds? It's going to be about 2 yards or a yard and a half shy of a first down. What a throw.
What a route. Watch this route by Sammy Watkins, how he drives off the corner, driving him off, and then plants a foot and comes right back to that football. Cutting at full speed. This is a true freshman. He played high school football just a few months ago.
straight up the middle goes Bellamy with great speed, lost the ball. Jamia Thomas knocked it away, and Julian Burnett, one of the inside linebackers, got it back. If Georgia Tech wins this game, tip your cap to the defense.
No question.
They've been brilliant.
Well, Mike Bellamy's a true freshman. He's a very talented football player. But when you're playing against a defense that's very aggressive and has a lot of bodies around the ball, you just have to understand when your journey's over, you've got to really protect. You've got to tuck that ball high and tight. Andre Ellington not in this football game. We just told you about that. He would be a player with a lot more experience, and they are missing him right now.
Toss sweep, Jones. Nice cut to midfield. I thought that was a nice touch by Dabo Swinney. When that young freshman came off the field after fumbling the football, he's not in his face screaming at him. He's patting him on the helmet. Sure, he's telling him you got to do a better job of holding on to the ball, but he's comforting him too. I thought that was a great piece of coaching.
I think Dabo understands a young man, and he's a gifted player. You don't want him to go into the tank. He's going to need Bellamy to come back and help his football team in the second half.
That is very nice. There's the B-back again. Preston Lyons has gotten a lot of work tonight. He split time with Sims. But every mistake you make against Georgia Tech, Craig, gives them the chance to run 5, 6, 7 minutes off the clock and shorten the game, which is what they want.
And it's an offense that has 48 plays of 20-plus on the season. That number has been updated. If we updated it, it would be over 50 tonight.
Yeah.
But, so you can't fall asleep. They've had 4 tonight, over 20.
Peebles is the man in motion. It's the fullback again. Lyons straight up the middle.
Lyons on the carry.
Checking with Robert Flores. What do you have, Robert?
Well, we have another undefeated that is on the ropes. Stanford trailing USC. Curtis McNeil, second touchdown run of the half. And USC is leading undefeated Stanford right now 20-10. And Wisconsin losing right now in Columbus 17-14 on ESPN late third quarter.
Oh, what a great night for football. What a great night for surprises. Peoples. One hand grab on the toss. That was beautiful, and then he turns the corner. He just reached out and grabbed it like it was a peach.
Now, I want you to watch the in-man line of scrimmage. The outside linebacker, Quentin Washington. He's got to play someone off of his legs, Tyler Kidney, and then he's late to the corner. He can't get around the corner.
Georgia Tech, the first 2 drives, nothing. The next 5, 345 yards and 31 points. They are taking it to the Clemson defense. Lions again. If you play outside, they run inside. You play inside, they run outside. There is an answer with this offense for everything you do. You have to be so perfect to stop these guys.
Many years ago, the wishbone was fantastic.
Yep.
And the only reason the teams got away from the wishbone is because these coaches needed to recruit and say to a player, we can get you to the NFL. We're going to get you in a pro-style offense. When you're running triple option football, if you have guys who understand it, you can't stop it because something is always going to be open.
There is always a number advantage. If you can identify it and then execute the blocks, you have an advantage. Philosophically, you have an advantage on every single play that you run because you have 6 guys to block 5.
Yep. Well, this offensive line, they've self-named themselves the Goon Squad. And
glad we didn't name them that.
No, I made sure I gave them credit for it. But they are playing fantastic tonight at getting on the legs of Clemson's defenders.
Well, right now the Tigers have to dig in. A touchdown here would put them down by 4 touchdowns in this game. That might be too much. Jones. Boy, a saving tackle by Rashard Hall as he got inside the 2 to the 1.
Okay, I'm going to try to show you here what it's like. Watch the defensive line on the right side of the offensive line, the left side of the defense. Watch them retreat as the ball snapped. You see they were 3 yards back immediately. And downhill was coming the offensive line and the blockers. So there's already a new line of scrimmage that's been established. That's just them trying to figure out who's coming to block me and not being aggressive.
Boy, the blocking by Georgia Tech's backs and wide receivers has just been sensational. Washington tries to keep dives inside the one, but short of the goal line. But it might be enough for a first down. And the clock just continues to tick away. Yes, it's only the third quarter, but when they can take 5 or 6 minutes off the clock with every drive, this game doesn't have a lot left in it. Boy, hats off to Tevin Washington. He's made a lot of great reads tonight in this offense. And it is first and goal. 4:02 on this drive so far. Paul Johnson believed in this offense at Navy. He brought it to the Atlantic Coast Conference. People said it can't work at this level, can it? Yes, it can. He was the ACC Coach of the Year his first 2 seasons. It's worked just fine. They had a down year last year. They had a down last 2 weeks, but this would be a monster victory for them. Washington leans in, didn't get there.
Yesterday in our meeting with Paul Johnson, he made a comment that really cracked you up when you asked him about how many times, what about winning?
Well, about the fan reaction and fan expectations, I thought it was the most subtle line from a coach I ever heard. He said, "You're just fine as long as you win 1 game a week." I just thought it was perfect.
And the way he said it.
Yeah, it was very droll. Yeah, one win a week, you're just fine.
Just fine. 1 game a week. Yeah, he also said, hey, who picked these guys for homecoming?
Well, right now, this is a perfect homecoming guest. They're getting whipped. Don't know if they got that one off. No.
Delay of game. Offense, number 13. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Only the second flag against Georgia Tech tonight. That's another thing to do if you're going to run this offense. You can't make mistakes that give you second and third and real long. This offense is not designed to get that.
No, they need a turnover here. They're +9, Clemson is, in the turnover department coming into this ball game. They need a turnover bad right now.
Second and goal. Smith got a block on the corner. Orwin Smith back to the 1.
Orwin Smith on the carry.
Well, I tell you, he can run that play, can't he?
Yeah, the big O. He's 6 feet, a little over 200 pounds, and most of the time the wing backs are much smaller and lighter, but he's got some pop to him. But Clemson's defense came to meet him, brought something to hold him out.
He gets the momentum going on that jet sweep. You got to catch him at the corner. Now it's third and goal. The clock continues to run. 5 minutes and 50 seconds on a 60-yard drive so far. They love to take their time and watch that clock tick down. Loose ball. Clemson needs this desperately. No signal. Clemson got it.
Clemson recovers the fumble.
Is that the break they need to turn it around?
Yeah, he just dove. This was a great job by Rennie Moore of jumping in, anticipating the snap. Inside. Yeah, he's on. You know what?
He's offside.
Absolutely offsides.
I mean, he's offside by half a body length.
How do you miss that? You know what?
I don't know.
I mean, it's just you just wonder how the officials got. He's looking right there.
He actually took the ball out of the hands of Tevin Washington as he was trying to pivot, and now they run a play very rapidly. I don't know how you missed that. You've got guys on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and he dives across at least 3 feet offside.
Yeah, and from the side view, it's even more pronounced, where you can see how he's clearly come over well into the neutral zone. Almost has made contact before the ball.
But regardless of that call, That's what Clemson had to have. They're still down 3 touchdowns, but 3 is a heck of a lot better than 4. Boyd will complete this one to Jerron Brown. 6'2" junior.
And this is where the leadership of Taj Boyd as the quarterback of this unit has got to get them to the line of scrimmage, get the calls from the sideline, and move them.
And this is where Chad Morris's hurry-up offense really comes in handy. You don't have to do something you're not used to. They run this hurry-up style all the time.
Yeah, and now for Georgia Tech, they've got to stay aggressive. Allegro can't change what he's been doing, and you have to make the adjustment as a wide receiver at Clemson to know what they've been doing and adjust yourself.
You saw Chad Morris on the sideline. This is the offense he taught us. Watkins with another catch. He gets to the 45-yard line. Taj Boyd with a perfect strike, 28 yards. Isaiah Johnson makes the tackle.
I like the way they're lining him up on the outside. They're trying to make and redirect. That's not redirecting. That's fighting through. Again, this is a freshman wide receiver who is fighting through the redirections, getting to the spot where the ball's coming.
Blitz coming. They pick it up, the pass complete, but Hopkins went out of bounds.
Pass complete to DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, spotted at the 39.
Now you just wonder, again, this ball delivered really crisply to Hopkins out there. Taj Boyd's got a strong arm. He's got an arm capable of bringing this football team back.
Boyd down the middle, tipped and almost intercepted. It just hung in front of Isaiah Johnson. He couldn't quite get there.
This is one of those, it's like being in a dream at night when you're trying to run away from the bad guy. And you can't get away from him.
That's right. Just one more step. What a great analogy. Boyd over the middle. Hopkins down to the 29. This is the Chad Morris offense that he brought from Tulsa after only 1 year in college football. He was a star in the Texas high school ranks, a disciple of Gus Malzahn, and he brought this offense to Clemson. It's been shut down for the better part of the night, but they need it now.
We've seen Allegro calling the blitz in this series twice and been late to the quarterback. Third time.
Flanker screen. Watkins, look at that speed. Holy cow. 2 guys had an angle on him. Forget it.
Coming with a blitz from the outside over there, and this is a great call. And if that blitzer doesn't get in the way of the passing lane, the ball's completed. Then you've got the speed of Watkins. And methodically, from the 1-yard line, this Clemson football team's gone down the field in a hurry.
10 catches, 159 yards for Sammy Watkins. Option. Boyd did not get in. Stopped just shy of the goal line.
Just a game of inches, because Boyd is going to score, but he ran into one of his own teammates that slowed down his momentum. And why that's important is every second in this football game is important.
If you're going to do something in this game, you better do it quick if you're Clemson. Short. DJ Howard with a dive. They stopped the clock with 2 seconds left in the third quarter.
Walls with the stop.
Defense number 92. Half the distance to the goal. Remains second down.
Second and goal from inside the 1.
Now you can see now, now all of a sudden they're calling
lined up offside.
Yeah, they saw that one.
Yeah.
Think somebody sent them a memo down?
Georgia Tech, 31.
15 minutes to go at Georgia Tech. Clemson knocking on the door, trying to mount a comeback. What a spectacular college football game this has been. We start the fourth quarter. Clemson trying to cut into a 21-point gap. No signal yet. Now they're... It's a touchdown. I don't know how you make that call 10 seconds after the play. So many things have happened on the ground while you're running in from the sideline to make that call.
Yeah, I guess a yard in, it's a touchdown, and Clemson has done exactly what they were supposed to do. Their defense gave them the football with an opportunity. They took it the length of the field.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown. The play is under further review.
See if the ball maybe shook loose. Has to be indisputable video evidence.
Well, Boyd's body is definitely across, but right now he doesn't have the football.
At any point did we see him with the football in his hand? I'm not so certain that he didn't hit the center's fanny as he was starting to go forward. Now the question is, who had the football? Who came out of that pile with the football? Okay, it's loose there, and I think that you could be conclusive in saying he had not reached the goal line at that point. But my question is, who came out?
Bottom of the screen, look at 86. The player on the ground in front of him.
It's down here.
That's exactly where the ball is.
Well away from the pileup. Scooped in. It's a Clemson touchdown.
But nobody sees it. The umpire is walking toward the middle of the stack. The line judges are running in from the sideline. They don't see it.
The umpire is to the left of the football, and it is clearly down at the bottom right of the screen. And it's pulled in by Brandon Thomas, the left guard.
And Brandon Thomas hasn't told anybody he's got the ball yet. Of course, now we come to the issue of what is indisputable. It's pretty hard to tell when the ball came loose. Of course, the call is a touchdown. So it would have to be indisputable that it wasn't, and I don't think you can say that. But this is huge for Clemson because it would cut it to 14 points, and we're told the play is going to stand.
The ruling on the field stands.
So an extra point cuts it to 2 scores with a load of time left. The problem for Clemson's defense, since the first 2 drives, they haven't been able to stop Georgia Tech, and they've got to stop them.
But I tell you what they've done is they put themselves back in this football game.
They have indeed.
And now the pressure's on their defense to figure it out.
And right now, one of the biggest plays of the year is Georgia Tech's got the ball goal to go, and a missed offside call that resulted in the turnover, which would have made it a 28-point lead. Instead, Clemson goes the other way and gets a touchdown. Now, here's the missed offside call we're talking about. The ball is not snapped, and the tackle dives across and literally takes it out of the hands of Tevin Washington. That is a huge play. Wow, what a ball game. 31-17, Georgia Tech over Clemson. Early moments of the fourth quarter. It's a 2-touchdown game. Smith and Jones deep to receive. Orwin Smith dives forward to the 25-yard line. ABC Tuesday is the new light for laughs with Tuesday's #1 new comedy, Last Man Standing. Tim Allen is the perfect dad, raising 3 daughters the only way he knows how. Funny. Tim Allen, the Last Man Standing, all new Tuesday, starting at 8/7 Central on ABC.
All right, this Clemson defense, the linebackers must stop the inside game. They cannot allow the be back behind that quarterback to have success.
Sims is the be back as we start this possession. Washington keeps swallowed up. Let's check in with Robert Flores.
All right, Mike, AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. Now, while your undefeated is struggling, another undefeated, Oklahoma State, no problem against Baylor. Justin Blackmon, 13 catches, 172 yards, and 2 scores as the Cowboys are perfect. Up next for them, Kansas State. You can text VOTE to 55862 for a chance at a trip to the national championship. Mike.
Thank you, sir. Georgia Tech trying to protect a 14-point lead and work out another long play. And they try the trick with the toss to Hill. And they blow it dead.
False start. Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty.
You wait all night to run that play, and then it gets burned by a penalty. Let's check in with Jen Brown.
Well, this Tiger defense, I have to point out, maybe wearing down just a bit. Last time they were on the field, I saw a lot of players with their hands on their hip. Several guys when they came off the field utilizing the oxygen tanks behind the bench. They had a good chance there to catch their breath with that long series for their offense. So they should be good to go now, but definitely still seeing some players with their hands on their hips.
Jen, you can't afford to be tired now. You just have to find a way.
All the more reason that this series here, Clemson's defense has got to force a punt. And having Georgia Tech out of rhythm now at 2nd and 13 is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
In this offense, it's a big deal.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's a passing down, because they'll run on any down out of the option and might be able to pick up long yardage.
Well, and you don't want to be throwing the football if it's incomplete, stopping the clock, and all those things come into just a lot of things now. The dynamics of 2nd and 13 considerably different. Washington leads them out. They've had 10 runs. They picked up better than 10 yards tonight. Washington quarterback draw, big hole. Washington dives out to the 30. Still be about 5 yards shy of a first down. Kariko Hawkins, the middle linebacker, made the tackle. Second time we've seen a very successful call with a quarterback draw. This time, the linebacker level able to come in and pinch and stop the first down from being made, but successful in the sense now they're 3rd and manageable. Washington very patient on that play. He's got to go back, let the blocks develop, and for that hole to open up, and he's done it beautifully. They go back to Hill, and this time Clemson waiting for it. 3 orange shirts waiting for Hill. Crawford and Hawkins were in on the stop. Now, you know what, this is all about vision, backside responsibility, doing your job. Clemson did not leave it, and Paul Johnson went back to the tank after the penalty that negated that. And so Clemson's defense, to Jen Brown's point, they had been over there on the oxygen tank. Now they can go over and get a little bit more break. First punt since the middle of the first quarter. And Sean Poole will kick to DeAndre Hopkins. Nice high spiral. Fair catch signal. Made at the 26-yard line. 46-yard punt. Clemson with 12:06 to go in this game. They need 2 touchdowns to tie it up. Now for our ACC update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper 10. Big score there is North Carolina hanging 49 on Wake Forest. That really changes the complexion of what we're looking at in the standings. Wake Forest now down 2 games in the loss column to Clemson. Georgia Tech needs this game to stay within 1 against Virginia Tech, and that meeting with Virginia Tech coming up, what, Thursday? Thursday night. They got 2 more Thursdays, and it will be, if this hangs in there, monumental. We've already seen how Clemson can strike quickly. Boyd on the run, throws to the sideline, tipped, intercepted, but out of bounds.
Pass is broken up.
Rod Sweeting along with Lewis Young, who has played so well at the corner. Oh, but his feet, man, this is just really close. An ill-advised throw, trying to make something happen.
Oh, boy, so close. How many times have we said in this ball game, a game of inches, the little close plays?
I think by the time he had possession, his foot had dragged across the line, but that was so close. Allen, the future NFL tight end, takes it on another nice throw by Taj Boyd. And isn't Taj Boyd good?
He is very good, and so is Chad Morris, the offensive coordinator, getting him to the line of scrimmage, getting the plays in, snapping the football.
This is hurry up on steroids. Underneath to DeAndre Hopkins. He's got another first down.
Now the rhythm has been established for Taj Boyd in the backfield. Al Grove, the last series, came with the corner blitz several times and was burned by it. Now he's just rushing 4. And we're seeing clearly that Taj Boyd, given time to throw, will find one of his receivers.
Had a spectacular second half. Georgia Tech blitzing. They don't get there again. This pass incomplete. Jamia Thomas covering Martavis Bryant.
Broken up by number 14.
Remember now, the goal here is to stop the vertical entry at the line of scrimmage and not let these receivers get down the field so quickly. You can't get scared if you're Georgia Tech. You can't be afraid to get back up on that line of scrimmage and challenge these receivers, because they will beat you if you give them a cushion.
Jamia Thomas, number 14, has had quite a ball game. Blitz coming, Boyd out in the flat, and a heck of a catch by Bellamy, but he couldn't keep his balance, and then he drops the ball.
Pressure applied by number.
Now there's that pressure. The pressure that time coming by Groh is really what disrupted the mechanics of Taj Boyd.
Sacks are overrated. Pressure is not.
Absolutely. Now 3rd and 10. I'm finding the best player on the field. That would be Sammy Watkins at the top of the field.
He's the outside receiver to the top of your screen. Boyd looks the other way, throws underneath, dropped by Hopkins.
Pass is dropped by number 6, DeAndre Hopkins.
Interesting decision here. There's 11 minutes to go, but Georgia Tech can burn 7 minutes off the clock with 1 possession.
Which is what Dabo Swinney understands. That play was designed to pick up 5, 6, 7 yards and give him a better chance on 4th down.
I think this is the right thing to do, don't you?
I do. I go for it here because you're right. If you don't, Georgia Tech and Paul Johnson will get it back and play keep away from you. There'll be no trick-or-treating.
They call a timeout. They want to talk about it. 4th and 10. Will they go or not?
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy. And John Hancock Mutual Funds. Visit jhfunds.com.
The chill of a cold fall night has reached Atlanta, Georgia. But Clemson trying to heat it up, going for it on 4th and 10.
Zimmerman in the punt.
Check it. They have sent on the punting team.
Jamia Thomas.
Zimmerman, presumably to punt to Thomas, who waits at the 10. So they're going to put the pressure on a defense as Zimmerman kicks it sky high, and Thomas makes a fair catch at the 15-yard line. Tomorrow night, join host Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, and my partner Craig James for BCS Countdown as they unveil the latest BCS standings, as well as analyze who are contenders and who are pretenders. BCS Countdown presented by Tostitos. ESPN tomorrow night at 8:15 Eastern. It continues on ESPNU at 9 o'clock.
Well, now after today, what's going on around this country?
Going to change a few things, huh?
This game here, you see that Stanford's in a battle with USC.
How Georgia Tech handles this drive will determine whether that was the right call or not to go for it. Wide open, down the middle is intercepted. Picked off by Rashard Hall. What a play by the Clemson defense. And Washington was just a beat late.
Wait till I show you how lucky Clemson's defense is. Stephen Hill is wide open. Clemson's defense has a blown coverage. Right side of your screen, they come up and they leave Stephen Hill by himself on the wide right side. I mean, no one is over on the right side with Stephen Hill.
Washington never saw him. Now Clemson can pull within 7. Are you kidding? What a ball game. Roderick McDowell is in at the running back spot. To the end zone and intercepted. Jamea Thomas. Boyd tossed it up. It looked like Hopkins lost track of the ball. Holy cow.
Well, I tell you what happened was Sammy Watkins makes an adjustment on his route. He feels Jamea Thomas going back deep to the corner. So Watkins decides to check up, and Taj Boyd didn't read it that way. He expected Watkins to continue on. Watkins has got to stay with that route and go up and use his athleticism to win that ball.
And all Thomas can say is thank you very much.
Right back where we started a couple seconds ago.
You don't think Georgia Tech's going to throw it this time, do you?
Whew. Number 7, David Sims on the carry.
You know what? Jamea Thomas and this secondary has played a fantastic game. It's one thing to be given an opportunity, but you got to finish the play. And that's what Georgia Tech has done given the chance.
Well said. These guys worked hard all week under Al Groh, who spent a lot of his summer studying this hurry-up offense on the internet, looking back 40, 50, 60 years to see the basis of what it was. Peoples on the toss across the 25 to the 27 branch made a tackle. We check in with Robert Flores. Robert.
All right, Mike, another undefeated in trouble on the road. Stanford trailing USC after Matt Barkley hooks up with Marquis Lee, and the Trojans are leading right now at home 27-24. Right now on ESPN, Wisconsin on the verge of losing a second consecutive game. Ohio State up 26-14 late fourth quarter.
Boy, oh boy.
You know what? I two weeks ago did USC game, and I had confidence in USC in this ball game against Stanford because of Matt Barkley and because of Woods. There still are a lot of good players on that Trojan football team.
But they hadn't shown it.
But beating Notre Dame last week, confidence coming on. I know you. It's not like they were beating.
Don't know what a huge victory that was.
Sounded good, didn't it?
It did. Here's the list of unbeatens. Clemson and Stanford with major trouble right now. Clock running, 9:29 left in this game. Georgia Tech a 3rd and 3. Washington, the keeper, had to reach the 30. He's on the ground, and the ball is laying on the 30. Where will they spot it?
It looks like a favorable spot.
The official from this side says it's on the 30, and it is a first down. That's another 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I like the way, though, that play was set up. You had the fake motion, went back and set up, then came with the motion, and you're trying, again, to put Kevin Still's defense with their eyes over there watching instead of coming off the ball.
He did not like that spot, and I think they're lobbying. Having Dabo Swinney having explained by the official what happens if you challenge that.
You're going to lose it. You're going to lose a timeout. They don't need that. They still have quick strike ability.
Absolutely.
They can get back in this game. They don't need to panic.
David Sims on the carry.
I think you're going to see Tevin Washington on the back of one of his linemen. He's not down, and he sort of rides it forward at the end.
Deshaun Williams.
He's not down. He's got the ball across that line.
Hey, you know what? I think it's a good spot. Get back and play defense. Clemson's defense is doing all they can to hang in there in this football game. It's got to come down to two things. Defensive ends, the men get up the field, and linebackers hit hard inside on the guards to stop the inside game.
2nd and 7, the clock ticking inexorably. Sims again.
David Sims on the carry.
Every one of these 40 seconds, and they milk that clock. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, late local news over on ESPN SportsCenter after the conclusion of Wisconsin-Ohio State.
You and I going out trick-or-treating after this?
This be enough for me.
Would it?
This has been the treat.
Yeah, it has been a treat. And if you're Clemson, it's been a trick.
Yeah. But they're not completely tricked yet. 7:13 to go. They have to stop Georgia Tech, though. Toss sweep. And out of bounds. Pushing and shoving after the play. First down, Jackets.
One of the things you've heard from Paul Johnson the last few weeks is we just can't get to the perimeter. But the blocking has allowed that to happen. Fantastic job by linemen on the inside and the wide receivers blocking, getting people to the ground. Roddy Jones that time, getting his guy down.
That was a great block by Roddy Jones.
Man, I tell you, it's called an arc block, it's called a chop block, it's called a cut block, whatever it is, these receivers and linemen at Georgia Tech know how to do it.
And what it's also called is another 2.5 minutes off the clock. Sims again, running room, dragging Andre Branch with him.
And as you know, we heard just a few minutes ago Jim Brown with a report about that Clemson defense has been going to the bench, getting some air. So now the fatigue factor really comes into play.
You know, tonight, the combination of Paul Johnson's faith in this option offense and his quarterback's execution. Tevin Washington played very well tonight. And Al Groh's brilliant concept of this defense and what to do against Clemson's exceptional offense. To me, those have been the hallmarks of what this game has been. Washington milking every second. Gives it to Sims again at the midfield. The clock running. We're under 6 minutes. Tomorrow morning on ESPN, tune in for another 3-hour Sunday NFL Countdown. Chris Berman and the gang provide all the news and the latest updates from stadiums around the league right up until kickoff. Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM on ESPN tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Third down.
Almost 5 minutes off the clock on this drive. 7 plays, only 30 yards. Nothing else matters but the time. Clemson desperately needs the ball, and right now they can't get it. 3rd and a long 2. Washington, first down.
Number 13, Tevin Washington.
It's just that midline quarterback run, so hard to defend. Clemson, when they're playing well against this triple option, has been successful with their defensive tackles. After the first or second series in this game, Georgia Tech's offense, especially the center and the guards, they fit their pads. They got confidence, and they started making those blocks.
How about Tevin Washington? 22 carries, 160 yards. Georgia Tech has rushed for 367 tonight. They are back after 2 subpar performances. Sims again inside the 40 to the 39. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. The much maligned Tevin Washington comes into this ball game. He's run for 160 yards.
4 yards.
Taj Boyd has played exceptionally well at quarterback.
Yeah, but if you don't have the ball, you can't win. And remember, coming into this game, Paul Johnson wanted to limit to 10 possessions.
It's
they
been
have
11.
And they've been normally Clemson 17 or 18.
And he can live with 11.
Yes.
That may have been a busted play.
Tevin Washington.
Washington bobbled it and did the smart thing. Just dove forward, make sure he kept it. Look at that clock. It's down to 3:47 and counting. Clemson only has 2 timeouts left.
It's hard to name a unit that is the most valuable in this game, because the offense and defense have worked together as a team. The defense came out in the first half and really played extremely well.
This has been a soul-ripping 7-minute drive. The steely look of Paul Johnson. He knew exactly what he needed to do tonight with this offense. And this offense has come through for him, especially on this last drive, which has already eaten up 7 minutes and 18 seconds. Welcome back to ESPN on ABC. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines. 31-17 Georgia Tech as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships. Only 4 races left. Carl Edwards looks to overcome his Martinsville drought and maintain his points lead. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues in Martinsville tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Is Georgia Tech ready to apply the final blow to Clemson's championship hopes? The undefeated season is on the brink right now. Tevin Washington, first down. He had played so poorly the last 2 weeks that Sinjin Days, his backup, was expected to get a lot of time tonight. Sinjin Days has not played.
Watch the center, the guards, the inside. Look at the cut blocking, the blocking down. I mean, this offensive line has paved the way. Fantastic. Look how they block down. There's no penetration. That's the midline quarterback run there. And the blocking for Paul Johnson's offense tonight has been unbelievable. And on the other side of the ball, their defense came and they established the physical nature.
Georgia Tech squeezing the clock with this drive. They're down to 3 minutes and 10 seconds. This drive, Craig, this is remarkable. 7 minutes and 23 seconds when Clemson had to stop them, and they haven't been able to. Sims pushed back.
David Sims on the carry.
It's the personality of Paul Johnson being shown on the football field.
Yep.
That's their third and final. Shortest timeout of the game. 30-second timeout.
Well, this is one of the big wins, certainly since he's been at Georgia Tech, one of the big wins of his career. Now for today's big picture brought to you by Sona. Number 9 Oklahoma against number 8 Kansas State. Heck of a matchup there. And Kansas State gets ripped for its first loss of the season. Baylor against number 3 Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State took care of Baylor. And number 14 Nebraska upsets number 11 Michigan State. Heck of a performance by them.
I thought Kirk Cousins was as off as I've ever seen him for Michigan State today.
He was.
And Rex Burkhead, this young man, he got after it. He had a big day.
He's going to be pretty good, isn't he?
He is. He's a good one. That was a heck of a win by Nebraska.
There's Al Groh, the veteran defensive coordinator. He's just been able to stand on the sideline and enjoy this drive.
Yes, he has.
Second down and 9.
Well, this
from the 30.
Georgia Tech football team, the last top 5 team they beat was back in October of 09, 28-23 over Virginia Tech, who was number 4 at that time, and it was a homecoming game.
Clemson out of timeouts. Washington protecting the ball, picks up a couple. It'll bring up 3rd and long, but Georgia Tech really doesn't care. As long as the clock is running, that's really all that matters. Clemson is still down 2 touchdowns.
Gain of a yard.
Yeah, this is one of those points in the game where ball carriers need to know they're going to try to have the second defenders in, stripping the football. Just hold on to it. Turnover is the only thing that can really help get Clemson back in this game.
One of the fascinating things about being a sport fan, if you're behind, this clock is going so fast you can't believe it. If you're ahead, it's barely moving. Washington. It'll bring up a 4th down. We're down to 2 minutes and 14 seconds. The 40-second play clock is running, and they will use all of it. Stay tuned for the Ford wrap-up after this game. Remind fans, or a reminder to fans, to log on to Ford.com/bigscore for your chance to win a 2012 F-150. That'd be neat.
Well, I had to pay for mine, but that's what I drive.
From the 27.
And Georgia Tech at 1:40 and counting, waiting to call a timeout. And they do at the 136 mark.
Tevin Washington has had one heck of a football game. He came in lacking confidence. I would say he's full of it now. The execution, the blocking, his teammates gave him the deal. It's the decision making when he's executing this triple option. The blocking of his teammates that gave him the confidence. And you know, Mike, there were a couple plays in this ballgame he threw the ball deep. And how about Stephen Hill? After he dropped a big play, they went back to him again. Very impressive.
He not only threw the ball deep, he threw the ball deep on time, perfectly accurate. I mean, he was sensational. There's no way around it.
4 out of 9 and a couple drops. So,
yes, sir.
You know, he had a nice night throwing the football, just enough to give some balance. We said on the open of the game, they needed run balance inside and outside. They had run balance inside and outside.
They countered whatever Clemson did on defense. They countered it beautifully.
Clemson, well, you know, this isn't a game where Clemson's going to say, man, we just blew it. They're just going to have to look at it as it was. Georgia Tech brought a physical game to the match, and I don't think Clemson did.
Clemson's only hope, stop him here. Washington dives forward. He's going to be about a yard short. And it looks like Clemson will get the ball back with 1:29. What they're going to need here is 2 touchdowns in 1:29.
Well, here's what but you know what, Mike? They need 1 touchdown. They need 1 big play from Sammy Watkins to take it to the house, get the onside kick, and then they've got another shot at it. So when you look at what this team has done tonight for Georgia Tech, enabling them now to have a showdown with Virginia Tech if they hold on.
That's going to make that Thursday night game huge. Clemson would still have a game lead in their division. Blitz coming. Boyd unloads. Gets it out to Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins gets all he can. And certainly we have seen Clemson all year. They can score, even if you're playing in a prevent defense, they can score in a hurry. Then they would have to get that touchdown, try the onside kick, recover it, and get another one to tie. Blitz. Boyd unloads, and that skips into the hands of Roderick McDowell. Pressure by Georgia Tech has made the difference.
You know why? Because, and here's why Al Groh's doing it. If you let Taj Boyd throw the football, there's a chance he completes it, and yards after the catch would eat him up.
Yeah, there's a chance he's going to complete it to Sammy Watkins, and that's not good if you're playing defense. 2nd and 10. This one's too high for Allen.
You know, in terms of the Heisman Trophy race that Taj Boyd and Sammy Watkins were in, I had Sammy Watkins on number 3 on my ballot coming into this week. Absolutely. And I'm not going to take him off of that.
I don't blame you.
No, he won't. And I think what will happen now is those who are fans of Sammy Watkins and Taj Boyd, they're going to drift over to Watkins and his side.
I don't know that I have ever seen a more impressive freshman receiver than Sammy Watkins. This pass too high, and it's picked off. Jamia Thomas with another huge play. Well, this kid has been spectacular, as has the whole Georgia Tech secondary.
Well, sometimes we're able to have a little vote in who the MVP of the ball game is, the player of the game. It's the defense in the secondary who had a heck of a ball game, but Jamia Thomas, 14, has been all over the place in run support and interceptions.
Spectacular. And Hopkins never got his head around to see that one. And now victory formation for Georgia Tech. What a performance by the Jackets. The last 2 weeks, they had really fallen flat. They couldn't do anything right on offense. Averaged only 14 points a game the last 2 weeks. And with this offense, you're not going to win that way.
I remember last Sunday morning, I was flying through Atlanta from Florida State, the game we had done last Saturday. Right. I bought a newspaper, and I read all these columns and comments about how poorly Georgia Tech was doing. And in the tank, the season woe is thee. They cured the ills in one night.
Yeah, they're going to have to write some different stuff this weekend. Well, the homecoming dance starts in about a half an hour. Hope you have a ticket. Dabo Sweeney and Paul Johnson. Boy, what a night for the Georgia Tech head coach. Craig, this was special.
It was special, and it will absolutely shake up. At BCS Countdown show tomorrow night, be interesting.
Where does Clemson go from here?
Oh, I don't know. I tell you what, Clemson's got to regroup. They can have a great season. This is a team capable of winning out. That's what they've got to focus on.
All right, our final score, Georgia Tech 31, Clemson 17. For Craig James, Jen Brown, and our entire crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, and so long from Atlanta. Now let's head back to Robert Flores in the studio. Robert.